All right, guys, we are going to do our Grandma Moses project. We're going to try to whip it out in 15 minutes. 20 minutes. In almost all of her pictures, she had foreground, middle ground, and background. So to replicate that style for her, we're going to take a half sheet of watercolor paper and a pencil and just lightly draw 2 lines, dividing up our page fairly evenly, so that we can do those 3 levels. Okay, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start a 5-minute timer on my watch here, and that's how much time we're going to have to sketch our idea. But what I'm going to do is a farm scene, because she was a farmer, and so I'm going to take my background, which is a little, it's opposite for you, but that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to draw some hills. So there, we're just going to have a curvy line there for hills in the background. And then in my middle ground, I'm going to want some medium-sized objects. So I might do a barn here, and let's draw a tree, kind of a smallish tree here, another smallish tree here, and I'm going to do a couple barns, lots of buildings. Grandma Moses's paintings were also very busy. There was a lot going on. I might do a horse here, and maybe it'll be pulling a cart, like that. Okay. And then for my foreground, I'm going to focus on things that are pretty large and right up front. And anything can cross the line above it. Like if I did a, kind of a larger barn here that's going to come out off the side, that'll totally cover everything up, and I don't like it. That was too big. Do over. Maybe like this. And have it be like coming out from there. I'm not going to erase most of this. I'm just going to color right over it when it comes time to do the paint part. So I want to do it fairly light. And maybe there's a tree, bigger tree that's right next to this barn. Okay, and then I want lots of people. So we can't really do a lot of people in 20 minutes, but I can kind of do maybe 3 or 4. So I'm gonna do a little stick man here. Let's see, and try to think of an activity that they might be doing. Have them hang laundry, actually. Do a clothesline. So maybe from this tree off to the side, we've got a clothesline. So maybe they're hanging a sheet right here. So I'll do like a couple pins, and maybe I'll have a basket of wet laundry right here that she's getting stuff out of on her knees, and this one can be pinning up something too. Okay, so her arms are up high. Okay, so that was just a few minutes. Not too long at all, and it's kind of the basics of what I want to get done. So I'm going to reset this for 10 minutes because now I want to do about 10 minutes for my watercolor pencils. These are watercolor pencils. Whoa. There's a lot of different brands. This is the kind that we have at Tiger Wednesday. And there's 2 trays in here. So you lift off the first tray and reveal the second tray. You're going to have one of these per art bin, so the whole class has to share. So you want to put them in a place that's accessible to everybody. And we're going to start that timer for 10 minutes. So let's see, I'm going to go top down. I'm going to pick a blue for my sky, and I'm just going to really lightly kind of scribble where the sky would be. I don't care if I have white space because I don't want a lot of color up there. I want it to be kind of light. My hills, I want to be purple. But these, I want to be able to pull some good color down. I'm going to push kind of hard. I'm just going to put some purple in there, but I want maybe some dark blue. I'm just really scribbling. I'm staying mostly in my lines, but kind of doing a light scribble. Because this is going to turn into paint that I'm going to slosh around. So not a lot of care there. Okay, and then I want a red barn. Yeah, so these I'm going to do kind of red there, and then this one, a brown barn. Okay, I want my trees to have maybe some more texture to them, so what I can do is pick a few different colors. For that, I'm just going to color like a kindergartner. With that, kind of a light color, I'm going to add some bright paint in there. Maybe a yellowish color, put some light, and then maybe a darker green for this tree in the back. It's got some shadows in there. Just a little bit. And this one too. I'm really just putting some dry paint on the paper. I'm going to fill in later. Okay, I want this line to be reddish orange also. I'm going to go pretty hard with my color. Okay, maybe some brown in there as well. Maybe a little bit, so it doesn't look so bright. Okay, little people. This looks like a kind of like a good people color. I'm just going to start by coloring in their faces. Do a clothesline in black. Oh, that's not a clothesline. This is my clothesline. This is not black either, but that's okay. It's kind of greenish. Okay, I'm going to do some white. Even though I have white paper, I'm going to put white paint on my sheet here. I want something to be able to blend with. I'm going to do some little bloomers here with this blue, with a good outline, and then just lightly shading it in. Some clothespins. And I think this is also a good tree trunk color. And I forgot about my wagon here with my horse. Really dark brown. Okay, I'm happy enough with this basic sketch. So I would like to do the foreground and middle ground colors. Snapping right and left might be handy to have a pencil sharpener nearby. Okay, so I'm thinking it is a warm summer day. So we've got probably green or brown grasses. A light green in this part. A little darker at the back than it is up front. Okay, that's a super light sketch with that color, and then I'm going to add kind of a lighter yellow, like close up front. Again, two colors always add more depth than just one. And then add a darker green to the middle ground. So I had the same like medium green in both, and then I added something darker to the middle. Okay, this is not anything special, but that's my basic 10-minute thing there. Okay, so now I want to do another 5 minutes for the watercolor part. You'll probably need just a few minutes more than that. I'm going to use a pretty fine paintbrush. So I just have a little bit of water, and it's going to be like magic. So I can start by painting my sky. Just putting water on there. Getting that until that paint really gets wet, and then it'll start smearing around. And then for my mountains, I'll be a little more careful because I don't want smearing mountains everywhere. I want it to be kind of defined. And I put a little too much water in my sky, so it's bleeding, which, there you go, isn't the end of the world. If you have a napkin somewhere, like I thought I did, you can just blot it. And it's okay. And so the more I want these to blend and smear around, the more I just go back and forth. Apparently my coloring turns into painting. It's so much fun. Right, I want to clear that purple off my brush so that I can do some green. I'm going to actually do my details before I do my background. So now you can see, sorry about my kid and my dog. You can watch as you're doing it yourself, those colors mixed together. And why we used a few different colors. I'm going to paint my little barn, put too much water on my brush. Let's see if I can get that right. So now I've got this little horse, which is somewhat detailed, and cart. Detailed does not mean that it's well done. It's pretty kindergartenish, but it's got small lines that I want to keep there. So I'm just carefully using a damp brush, not too wet, by kind of sharpening it up and drying it off on my paper towel. Just to get that detail in there without just smearing it all over. Okay, I want a really clean brush for smoothing out my, whoops, there's my 5 minutes. So I'm already over. I think having 7 or 8 minutes would be better for this portion, so you don't run out of time. But there's also not going to be very much cleanup because this is a nice clean project. So I think you'd be okay with sneaking in a couple extra minutes. Some kids are not going to be even close to done, and they're going to be super upset and be like, I'm not finished. So it's always good to keep reminding the kids that we're not really doing masterpieces here at CC. We're just learning the basics, and that they can play with this technique more at home. Especially if they got to the coloring point is done, but they didn't get to the water. They can totally take it home and carefully finish with just a wet brush is all they need. So that's an option for your more detail-oriented kiddos who just cannot be okay with a kindergarten job. I don't want my brush too wet for the background because it will smear into the other areas, but I'm also just more concentrated on moving quickly and getting a little bit of water everywhere, and I'm okay with some smears. So here we go. Here's my Grandma Moses watercolor in 20 minutes. Laundry day.